Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is day 2 of USC 2026, round of 32. I'm maybe a robot. I'm maybe not a robot. We're going to find out if that's actually true or not. But we are going to get things underway here. It is number 7, Nevada, one of the craziest seed improvements I've ever seen in my life, against number 26 seed Minnesota. I'm T1G. Joining me is Miles. This is going to be an interesting one, Miles.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. First of all, can you hear me? Because
yes,
my microphone just disconnected. Okay, perfect. Nevada versus Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota is a team that we've seen varying levels of success with, especially positively recently. I believe last year or the year before that, having a really solid run up the top 12. And Nevada State that not usually is seeded this high, as you said, but with a lot of high-ranking players this year, going to have a really advantageous bracket. But obviously, with what I just said about Minnesota, could be a bit tenuous, being a pretty scary early-stage team typically.
Yeah, I do think, like, we have a couple matches in a row tonight that are going to feel very, very similar in that regard. We have, Nevada here against Minnesota in the first matchup, and then it's going to be followed by Carolina versus Illinois in the second matchup, which are, kind of a similar situation where it's a team that just has some really high-ranked players that drives their seed up super high, but that ranking doesn't necessarily correspond to a whole ton of tournament experience and tournament results, especially. You look at players like Champ and Cloudpaw, rank 132, rank 19, excuse me. Yeah, it makes them the 7 seed, but you aren't like shaking in fear at those players in a tournament setting. So when the other side has players like Swick and Lillian and Destin, who have been, kind of proven USC players, took Minnesota, as you said, to the top 12 last year, it makes for a really surprisingly compelling, I think, 7 versus 26 seed matchup, especially since it's a round 1 pool. That's not going to be super difficult.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the USC special, and this is one of the things I love about USC. You have top players who aren't necessarily tournament players getting asked by other tourney players in their state to sign up, because you always want to have higher ranked players on your team because, they have a high skill cap, they raise your seed. There's always a reason to ask your state's top players to play, and it gives them some really good tourney experience. And for us as viewers, we get to be curious about what they can do in a tournament setting. But on a low star pool, not really going to be able to flex that skill cap very much, especially against players like Lillian, Swick, and Destin, who are very proven in this tournament.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity, I think, as well, being presented this year by this exact segment of the bracket. So you have, the four teams like in this portion of the bracket. So one of them is going to make it to the quarterfinals no matter what. You have Nevada, Minnesota, Oklahoma, Michigan, none of which have ever gotten to a winner's bracket quarterfinal, none of which have finished none of which have finished top 8 in the tournament. So we're really, going to see if, maybe Nevada can live up to the seed expectations. Maybe Oklahoma, with the addition of TTV UFO this year, can make a run. Or we could see, something interesting from a lower seed like the Minnesota to maybe be able to make another run. So kind of an exciting situation that these teams find themselves in on the Las Vegas Strip in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely an exciting part of the bracket. And I mean, to talk about TTV UFO, that guy has been on some sort of tear recently through these open rank 1v1 tournaments. Somewhat curious to see or to hear why he's on Oklahoma, considering he's from Hawaii to my knowledge, but
he is like living in Oklahoma now. I don't know the full background, but there has been adequate data provided that they're either really doing a good job of faking it or he actually does live there. So who knows?
Perfect. But yeah, back to this match. Pretty awesome Nevada warm-up there. We've got the slider.
Yeah. This is so. We talked a lot about this being early stage pool warm up. that's like 8 stars or whatever, notwithstanding. I really am curious to see where we go with picks here for these teams with, I don't know, with the rosters that they have. Like, it feels like you have options kind of across the board for a lot of different things.
And the great part about round of 32 is the maps all being easy means you aren't really like, I say easy usually with a grain of salt, but not really for this one, or this pool. There shouldn't really be that many players in the lobby who aren't going to be able to play most of the maps in the pool. But you still are able to flex your strengths on this pool. Like, if you're a gimmick team, you're going to be picking the Hidden 2. You're going to be picking the Free Mod 2, even though that one is kind of a meme. But if you're a speed team, that is somewhat of a skill set that just doesn't really exist at low star rating. There aren't really any real speed maps in this pool. Like, you kind of have Nomad 5 at 231 BPM. You kind of have the Fremont 3 at 222, but the DT pool really doesn't actually have a speed map, which is pretty interesting. So if you're a speed advantage team, you're not really going to have a great time on this pool, I don't think.
Yeah, and I mean, we haven't even seen the Nomad 5 picked at all in the first 2 matches. It was completely ignored. I think interestingly enough, the DT1 and the DT3 are both picked in both of the matches last night. So it does feel like you said, like the early stage speed just gets left. It's just, there's just no point, I feel like, for a lot of people is how they approach it. So yeah, I think it definitely favors like kind of the rounded, kind of the gimmicky players. We saw the Hidden 2 banned both times last night, right? With the other bands going into the Nomad 3 and the Hard Rock 1. So, a decent spread of picks, but another interesting thing for the pool last night, 4 maps in a row, unpicked completely. No Hidden or Hard Rock picks in either of those 2 matches, one of which went to tiebreaker. So, like, they had plenty of opportunity to do it. So already kind of seeing what teams might be prioritizing a little bit in this pool being, some of those DTs, and like the Nomad 2 and 4 were both picked in both. So the early stages for the gimmick players, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the maps are pretty interesting, actually. So Nomad 2 Glacier Fall, that map is a little bit messed up with those sliders. Gotta aim the ticks on that. Not a conventional tech map by any standards. And then also the Creator, that map way back in OWC, I think 2017, that map was all in quarters or semis. So that map feels weird to see it in a round of 32 now, but certainly fits the difficulty standard.
Non-slot pooling, my beloved. Glacier Fall. Nomad 2. Who needs slots anymore? We don't need those where we're going.
Dada just has a way with it that I don't really think any other pooler has. It's given USC its very unique flavor over the years. Like you see every team's tryout pool every year. They have to try their hardest to try to imitate what Dada is going to throw at them, and they always fail.
And I think there's like just something to be said for that, for having a little, like, they say variety is the spice of life, and USC really does present kind of a unique challenge because you're going to be getting something a little out of the ordinary, but as you said, you just don't know exactly what that's going to be. And so, it becomes like, we need a well-rounded roster, but we also need a scaling roster because we know stuff's going to get hard at the end, and we're probably going to need some mechanics, but maybe not a lot of mechanics. But the people who are really good at mechanics are probably just the best, like, in terms of skill cap overall, even if they don't have a ton of maps to play, especially in the early stages. So the whole like approach to roster construction in this tournament, especially with the limitations of, people having to be from your state, it really is an interesting kind of, I feel like it's kind of unique these days. Not a ton of tournaments with that sort of approach. But hey, we finally are through our warm-ups. So now we get to do stuff.
And there's a player who I don't think either of us have really mentioned so far that's actually been somewhat of a dynamo in the tourney scene recently, and that's going to be Orangoose on Nevada. That guy has just been tearing it up recently, is extremely strong, very consistent, very high skill cap. Probably going to see him in for every map for Nevada here, and could expect FCs on all of them from him if he is having a good day. But I don't think he's really the hidden player, so could potentially see some hidden bans come out from Nevada to try to accommodate him.
Orange Juice, my goat. How many names has he been through to approximate Orange Juice without actually being able to just directly spell it? Like, I think it's been a couple. Because he had like Orange Juice without the last E and with an underscore, and then he also had like Orange Juice with like some numbers or something.
Yep, that's his history right now. I'm on it.
Okay. Imagine just being able to be called Orange Juice.
Yeah, that guy is crazy, and I really haven't been as in the loop as I have in previous years with like USA players, but he is someone who has not gone under the radar for me. Just an absolute beast. Could expect him on World Cup team in the next few years, I think.
Ooh, that's a bold one.
I'll say it. Like the MP links I've been seeing from him have been seriously impressive.
No, I think that's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, we finally are going to see the first ban will be from the great state of Nevada. Eventually, perhaps.
They could ban Hidden 2, but also I don't think Minnesota's really a hidden team either with, you know, their core roster of Swick, Destin, and Lillian. I think much more preferring the Hard Rocks. But also can't not credit the other players on Minnesota and their potential improvement in the last years. I know Chibi, their captain, is someone who's fairly active in the tourney scene. So, especially even though being a lower rank could be very valuable on this round of 32 pool.
Yeah, that's like the really interesting thing that I feel like we keep kind of coming back to. I mean, Minnesota 26 seed with, you know, a 9K, an 8K, a 6K, and a just above 6K player. But that actually can serve you well in this particular setting on this pool. So it's gonna be Nevada to ban the Nomad 3. It is gonna be Minnesota to ban the Hidden 2. So our Hidden 2 will remain at the 100% ban rate. That's 3 for 3 so far this weekend. And first pick will go to Nevada. And an interesting, I don't know necessarily the background on a Nomad 3 ban here. It's just like a map, right?
That is one of the maps I haven't practiced in this pool, so I can't tell you, but it's an Advent map, and Advent is somewhat of a less conventional stream mapper. So maybe getting rid of that flow aim there. And Hidden 2, that map, like, I don't know, it's almost one of the perfect Hidden 2s at this star rating, in my opinion. Like, that map is just really funny, to be honest.
What will the Nevada first pick be? I suspect using as much time as they can because they had somebody that was still in a qualifier lobby or something, and I figured 15 minutes of warm-ups would probably be enough to get that sorted. It's gonna be Freewat 2 first pick. Yo, straight into it. Straight into Woyao Jinkela. The anti-mod pick coming out right from the jump, man. This is an interesting one, you know, for as much as we talked about Minnesota early stage and maybe being into some of the gimmick stuff, it's going to be Nevada to open up that kind of set of maps. Very curious as to what the mod choices are going to be like as well, because this is typically one where if you're going to see easy, it's going to be here. Unless you're 8th and you also play easy on Fremod 1. But for the most part, it's more likely on this pick than the others.
I feel like every year the round of 32 anti-mod map is always the most popular map in the entire tournament because it's, for one, it's the one that you could go flashlight on, and you'll see some teams that opt to go for that, like Georgia over the years with Stacker Joe always learning those maps with flashlight. You could also run easy, and then you also have just comfort mods on everybody. So if you're a team that doesn't really have too many, like, I guess, established tourney players, like some of the depth players on Nevada, you have an opportunity for everyone to put on a comfort mod and have a comfortable time on the map. So that's why it's very nice to pick early on in round of 32. And then anti-mod becomes the most unpickable slot ever by the time you get to Grands. Like, oh my god, the high star anti-mod maps are just like, it's a manufactured skill set. Like, you had to get custom mappers to make more anti-mod maps because there aren't enough of them once you get past 6 stars.
Yeah, if you want anybody to pick anything interesting at that point, it's like, man, I remember like the half slash, like CS 5.5 AR 7.5 from Corsace a few years ago, stuff like that. It's like, holy moly. Just, yeah, it good luck either with Hidden or with Hard Rock. But at this point, okay, I don't want to be rude, but like the free mod rules have not changed in this tournament in at least like 4 years. Maybe there's some new players who aren't up on it. If you're new to the tournament, maybe that's the story here.
So looks like we've got rosters in. We've got Freaky Player, Cloudpaw, and AJ for Nevada up against Lillian, Destin, and Curie for Minnesota. We see 2 Hard Rocks and a Hidden for Nevada. We do get the easy flashlight coming out of Lillian to join Destin on the Hard Rock. That is a bold choice, Lillian. I am excited to see what comes of this.
Yeah, this is going to be fascinating. So, to note, the overlay does not account for easy 2x. So you will have to do, you know, a little mental math, but now that we have the scores on the screen, it's a little easier to do said mental math. But we do have already 2 early breaks, actually 3 early breaks, excuse me, for Minnesota. So starting off like a good pick for Nevada, even with the break to come from Freaky Player, Cloudpaw, and AJ on the higher combos, keeping their lead intact.
This is a very short map, so you can't really afford to find any breaks during this middle section here. Very crucial, hold your combos. We've already got about, I think, a 60k lead if you account for the Lillian Easy right now, but that is a couple of breaks for Kiri and Destin, and that, I think, is going to spell disaster for Minnesota on this pick, so Nevada should be successful on this first pick now.
Yeah, with the amount of time that's left, with that lead where it is, even with the break from Cloudpaw there, AJ holding on to the Hard Rock FC and some recovery combo for Freaky Player is going to be just fine. You know, if you're gonna run easy flashlight, I feel like you have to be FCing like such a high percentage of the time because the opportunity cost of underperforming with easy FL is really, really high. That being said, I mean, almost
top score.
did end up being the top scorer on the team. So what that says is that Minnesota just didn't have a great time with that map, and that was a very good performance from Nevada in comparison. BFC on AJ, and just, you know, pretty solid scores from Freaky Player and Cloudpaw on their opening pick.
Mm-hmm. Exactly what you want to see on your first pick. Very definitive win for Nevada. Now Minnesota for their first pick gonna go for the free mod 3. So this map, Kita Saitama 2000, this is one of our quote-unquote speed maps in round of 32. Mostly short 222 BPM bursts. It's another sort of thing that I think is really popular for like an early pick in round of 32, especially from a low seed, because there's nothing really uncomfortable about this map at all. Like anyone who plays mechanics, which is most players now in year 2026, can come in and probably get a good score on this as long as they're able to access their comfort mods. It's like 222 BPM, CS 3.8, AR 9.6, 6.5 stars. Really nothing uncomfortable at all about these map stats and the patterning of the map being a Zydorn map.
Pretty accessible. This is like, what's the opposite of anti-mod? kind of gives you, you know, it's like you're able to just pick whatever you're comfortable with, and you'll probably do fine.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, in the map pooling community, we very endearingly refer to a map like this as Kappa Speed. So, like, it's
Kappa Speed.
It's Kappa Speed because you need to try to pool a speed map in round of 32, like low 6 stars, but like it's not a skill set that exists. So even though this is like one of the higher SRs in the map pool, up at 6.52, like it doesn't feel like that because all the patterning is just so comfortable. Just one of the things about the star rating system that isn't really good for tourneys.
Yeah, the star rating on this one is just speed SR. Pretty much all there is on that. Minnesota struggling to get their players in despite this being their pick. Not really sure what's going on over there. Hopefully they will get things sorted out. I'm wondering, and I think we'll maybe be able to make a better call on this after this map is played, but I'm wondering if like if I may have overthought the whole seeding discrepancy thing here, and you know, Nevada's 7 seed for a reason. Or at least in the first round. I mean, we just don't see many big early round upsets in this tournament. You might see, you know, like last night was a 19 over 15 or whatever, 19 over 14, whatever that was. But other than that, like, you really aren't typically seeing big seed discrepancy upsets. So maybe Nevada's just solid. We'll see though.
I just remember, like, a Minnesota team with the same core as this one took SoCal to tiebreaker and almost won. That's still like just firmly like in my head. So like even if Minnesota's a 26 seed, like Swick, Lillian, and Destin, like they've almost taken some very important scalps before. So would not be unable to rise to the moment in round of 32 like this, but we'll see how they do on this pick. Their first pick going up against Cloudpaw, Freaky Player, and Orange Juice with Destin, Garrett, and Lillian. Still have yet to see Swick in this match.
Yeah, interesting to see what I would reckon is their best player in either of the first 2 maps. So I don't know what the story is there. Everybody in chat saying, "Do they know?" I obviously we don't know. Like, no need to be like vague poster man. Obviously we don't know whatever it is.
I was watching soccer before this.
Yeah, it is still 6 FCs through the first half. I also was watching soccer until I realized that the game kind of sucked. So
there's the miss from Lillian though, and that's gonna throw the lead over to Nevada here out of the first intense section on this map. Only 1 miss though, so it's still 5 FCs in the lobby. If some breaks do come in from Nevada, Minnesota is not completely out on this yet. Little bit of an act drop for Orange Juice, but retains the combo. Should be looking good here. Quarter of the map left. Just 1 little burst section left.
In the last quarter we go. It's still a triple FC on lock for Nevada. Double FC for Minnesota. Garrett and Destin holding it down, but just the break from Lillian making the difference so far. Lead 240, 250K might just be enough regardless of what happens in the last little bit of combo. The tricky bursts come in, no breaks to occur. And are we going to see the 3-way for Nevada? Yes, we are. Excellent performance from Freaky Player, Cloudpaw, and Orange Juice. That's well done for those 3, and that's a big win to get an early break point. And, you know, the double F, or the near double FC, just the 100 combo shy of an FC for Garrett, FC on Destin, and Lillian with a sterling accuracy, but unfortunately, the misses. Not the most fortunate occasion.
Yeah, really good stuff from Nevada on that pick. I mean, 3-way, can't ever complain about that. That's a really good omen for them for the rest of this match, getting the early break point on Minnesota. And if they win their own pick here, go up 3-0, then you're over halfway to winning the match already.
Yeah, this is kind of a key spot already, right? These early round matches can get away from you really quickly if you fall behind that break point, and then the opponent is able to capitalize on it and get the consolidation, really can run away in a hurry. So feels like Minnesota kind of doesn't need the instant breakpoint back, but it'll certainly go a long way. And the DT2 pick is going to come out from Nevada, so kind of continuing to roll with the mechanics after winning the free mod 3. They're going to say, okay, we'll play that game. We'll play that game twice. We'll go into the DT2. It's 234 BPM, tapping heavy. Makes sense. You win a tapping map, pick another tapping map.
Yeah, this is probably the actual hardest tapping map in this pool. Bamboo Dance, there's a decent amount of finger control in this, decent amount of aim. And that's by virtue of the song, by the way. I still haven't seen what this map looks like. I didn't practice it. But with those map stats, with this song, this is the type of map you're going to get. Also, fun fact about this map, length 2 minutes 34 seconds, the same as the BPM of 234.
Yeah, I noticed that during the showcase when we were talking about this map. I was like, oh hey, that's very aesthetic. Yeah, pretty cool. Will we see Swick? Is the question. Will that be what Minnesota needs?
They really need a nuclear Swick performance here. Sorry.
Swick is in Japan, lol. Okay, to be fair, in Japan, it right now is like noon or 11 a.m. if that's true. So like, honestly, could be viable.
I know exactly what the conversation was. What if Swick wasn't supposed to play this tournament in the first place, and he just had to be on the team so the seed could get boosted?
I mean, even with him, they're only the 26th seed. Like, with all due respect, it really wouldn't have mattered all that much. I don't know who their next player would have been. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, what is it going to do? Drop you from 26 to 29 seed, so now you're playing North California, and actually with it being Nevada, that on paper feels like it should be more important than it is, but Nevada is proving, my take about their potentially being seeded a little higher than you might anticipate, trying to prove that wrong and doing a good job of that so far.
I had that situation last year. I was in Japan during USC, and I did not play, but I joined my team BC from a soba bar in Gunma province. Like, just watching the match on my phone. That was pretty funny. Yeah, more on this match. We've still got 3 FCs on the board for Nevada. Once again, couple misses early on for Minnesota. Just Lillian holding on to the FC with another break from Garrett. And it's looking like another really strong Nevada performance.
Yeah, this is, I mean, this is what we were talking about, right? With Nevada having some of these pretty high-ranked players, like, the reason people get to high rank in solo is almost always because they have good mechanics. And they're very clearly, showing that here. They're putting that on display. Three-way still intact here, and three-way on the last map, and it's just they're doing their jobs. This is exactly what you expect out of people in the top couple hundred, and just good mechanics performances on mechanics maps, even with that break from Freaky Player. 200k lead. There is enough time. There is certainly a ton of time here, but Double FC going to still do some work, especially with that break coming from Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett really not having a good time on this one. I think with a slightly better score on this, they would be in prime position to get a breakpoint here. They really need Lillian to hold on with that really good act. But more than that, I think they need to see a break from either Cloud Power or Orange Juice here, because there's just not really combo to fight against them with the 2 FCs.
Yeah, it needs to be a break from one of the FCs for Minnesota to have a chance, and it needs to be pretty soon because that leads to 75k and not getting any smaller. So, despite the best efforts of Lillian, who is, this is going to be 2 very good map performances from Lillian in a row. It's just not probably going to end up mattering. Unfortunately, the lead grows over 300k. You still got the double FC, recovery from Freaky Player. And pretty good accuracy on just about everybody. It's really just that combo. And Nevada's going to make the most of it.
Yep, once again, I mean, not too many misses from this entire Nevada roster so far in this matchup. Like a couple misses on Jinkala, one miss on this map, and 2 FCs. Looks like they're beating any allegations we might have had against them before the match. 7 seed doing 7 seed things.
Yeah, you know, I think even if you perceive a team as being overseeded, 7 versus 26 is just a really big obstacle to overcome, especially when 26 is missing their best player. This could actually, I'm gonna have to open the MP here. This could actually be interesting with Swick. So like, imagine you have Swick and he FCs that map, they win it now. Imagine you have Swick and he FCs Kita Saitama, they come pretty close on that. Woya Jinkella was probably, well, actually with the easy
I
double,
think that was lost.
That was probably lost no matter what. Kita Saitama was probably lost as well no matter what, but like, it would have been a lot closer. So, you know, I'm hedging here. This could be very interesting with Swick. Unfortunately, without Swick, it is proving to be a little less than interesting unless Minnesota can, you know, turn this around now that they're down 3-0 consolidated break point.
Yeah, what if De'Aaron Fox just held on to the ball, bro?
True!
No, I'm so happy about that. I'm glad he went for the layup. That was really good for me.
Yeah, spoken like a Knicks fan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nomad 2 coming out. We're going to see Glacier fall again. Surprised to see this map get picked multiple times so far this weekend. I thought this map could be one that would go, like, not very picked, to be honest.
It could be the unpicked. No, this is 100% pick right now. In fact, 3 for 3 thus far. It's just kind of a banger. And there's not tech elsewhere in the pool, right? This is like, I mean, I don't know, Hard Rock, it's Hard Rock 1 tech. No, yeah, this is like the only tech you've really got on offer. So if you're a team that wants to play tech, you just pick it.
And it's very scary tech because you have the longest sliders of all time. And I think this was like the advent of Sliderator, I think, in ranked section. You didn't really see anything like this before this was ranked.
I remember the first time I saw those sliders, I was just like, I did not know that this was rankable. Had never seen anything like it. But here we go.
Yep, we've got Chibi entering the lobby to join Lillian and Destin with AJ, Champ, and Orange Juice on the other side.
And you really, on the low-key, gotta win this one if you're Minnesota. We're kind of getting to that point. Yeah, we're kind of getting to that point already in this match. Like I was saying, you know, when it's a best of 9, you just don't have a lot of opportunities to drop points and still come back from it. It becomes unsalvageable quite rapidly to the detriment here of Minnesota. So, and we go to the crazy sliders, which, I mean, you know, you hit those just by aiming at the follow points, so it's not as crazy as it looks, obviously, but it's very cool visual.
It's very cool visually when you're a viewer. When you're a player and you see that for the first time, you start to shit yourself a little bit.
Well, you know what Noah Kahan said. If you're going to do that, at least take it to the bathroom. In we go. It's an early break from both Lillian and Chibi. Not what you want to see as the first harder part of the map comes into play. Destin holding on, but it's a triple FC thus far for Nevada, and they're going to build themselves a tidy little lead. Just about 100k, as all 3 members of Minnesota have broken. No full combos left on that side through these trickier slider patterns.
And once again, this is a pretty short map, so already past the halfway point. Nevada cruising smooth here with 2 FCs still on their side with none on their opposition, and 150k going up to 160 on Nomad. That is not an easy lead to bring back without having multiple FCs on the board, and it's already looking like another Nevada break point here going into the last third.
Yeah, this is really, I think, past the point of no return here for Minnesota's chances on this pick. They do not have combo. It is a double FC for Nevada, and it's going to be double break point, 4-0 lead before anybody knew what hit them, really. No full combos will be forthcoming, though. Breaks from AJ and Orange Juice near the end here, but it's job done regardless. You're not going to be complaining too much. Yeah, it sucks to not FC if you wanted the FC, but you get the point anyway, so no big deal.
Whatever gets you up to that 4th point, I mean, where else would you rather be than up 4-0?
Who's got it better than us? It's a 4-0. No, but I mean, really, you're in a comfy spot. Now you got match points the rest of the way through, and you know, if you are Nevada, got some pick options left. Do have that No Mod 5. Have the DT1 and the DT3 if you like the DT options. So there are choices here that will still feel pretty good to try to close the match out in very clean, comfortable sort of fashion, as eventually we get through this ending. No skip Saturday.
Or you could do the other option when you're up 4-0 is you pick whatever the most swag map left in the pool is. I think here we've got the creator. So a heartfelt request from the commentator. Please pick the creator.
What maps have aura in this pool? Yeah, the creator's got a lot of aura. That is so real. Actually, I just want to. I would like to see a Nomad 1. That would be kind of cool too.
That would be really funny.
I'd be down for a Nomad 1.
Yes. Okay, this is the other map I was gonna say. Vucadao. This map is really funny. Map by Mouse Easy, former top player from Brazil. Kind of a bit of a weird kind of ulti finger control-y flow-amy thing.
It's definitely a thing. I don't know how I feel about it, but it is very much a thing. That is, I don't know. It's like aim and tapping, but it's just the song is really what kind of does it on this one, right? It's all about this song.
Yeah, the song choices in this pool are actually great. A lot of funny songs here.
And honestly, just the way that things are going in this match, like it's hard to think of how Minnesota can. Yeah, here's how Minnesota can still win. To do everybody's favorite bit from every prediction stream we've ever done in every tournament. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel like they have like that X factor in this match that's going to allow them to win picks. You know, Nevada's just been the better performing team for the first 4 maps, and it's not been by a small margin.
Hey, I mean, they traded Julius Randle for LaMelo Ball. I think Minnesota needs to bring some of that into the lobby.
Okay, but if you could have LaMelo Ball together with Anthony Edwards, wouldn't you do it?
Of course I would.
All right, in we go. Freaky Player, Cloudpaw, Orange Juice, Lillian, Destin, and Chibi. Minnesota trying to keep themselves alive in the winner's bracket for at least one more map on Nevada's pick here. And that flow aim can be devilish as Freaky Player and Orange Juice find some early breaks. It's going to be advantage to Minnesota here. Eventually, they do have the FCs on Lillian and on Dustin. And not on Lillian anymore, but they have one on Dustin. It's okay.
Yeah, Destin, I think, really needed to have a nuclear sort of match here for them to have a chance. He has been one of their strongest players with Swick in the past few years. So probably need to see an FC out of him here if they want to win this pick. But Nevada's not making it easy for them, still with 3 big combos alive. A 75k lead could get erased really quickly on DT, but he needs to see the breaks from Nevada first, and those just aren't coming.
Yeah, it's Cloudpaw still holding on to the FC. Orange Juice mashing his way through the stream. Freaky Player likewise. The low accuracy, big combo plays, doing what they need to. It's not a huge combo lead. It's not a huge score lead. It's only 80k. You've still got a quarter of the map to go, but it would need to be probably a double break from Nevada right about now to have any chance. If they can get through the stream, it's all over. And I think that might
Hold on.
Freaky player late
That's
break,
going to go down really fast.
But Lillian broke as well.
Oh.
The opportunity may have been there. The opportunity may have been there with that Freaky player.
It was definitely there.
I think
if Lillian held, they would have won that pick, and that's going to do it. Nevada 5-0 over Minnesota in their round of 32, cruising comfortably into the next round.
Yeah, that was... I can't say I anticipated this being quite that one-sided, but I am impressed by the performance of Nevada and the poise, you know. A couple of very, very good team scores and a couple of scores that were, you know, good enough for the win. And it moves them onward to await the winner of Oklahoma versus Michigan. Minnesota... I mean, we've been saying that, you know, I'm a broken record about this match as far as Minnesota's concerned, so we got to figure out something else to say. It was a reasonable performance from the players they had. You got to give them the credit, but Nevada was just a better team.
Yeah, you need to have a lot of FCs to get through round of 32, especially when you're a lower seed going up against a high seed. You need to have multiple FCs ready per map, and just didn't really have it in this match. And, you know, can't really blame them. They were missing their star player. And as you said, they did their best with the players available.
We'll go down to losers. They will play the loser of Oklahoma versus Michigan, which is... that is actually the last match of the round, so they won't know who they're playing. None of these teams will know who they're playing for quite some time. Oklahoma, Michigan rescheduling all the way to Monday night, Tuesday early UTC. So they'll be chilling for the rest of the weekend, watching the rest of the round. But in the meantime, we are going to have a little bit of a break. It is 20 minutes, just about, before the next match, which is, as you can see, Carolina versus Illinois, which is a match that will probably have a similar storyline going into it as this one did. Very interested to see how that one goes. I hope you all are as well. But for now, congratulations to Nevada on the win. Commiserations to Minnesota. And we'll be back in just about 15, 20 minutes for the next match of the night here at USC, round 32. Be there, be square.